More than 7.5 years after Abby Williams and Libby German were murdered, this case is finally in the hands of the jury.
Closing arguments took place this morning in the Delphi murders trial, and that comes after 17 days of testimony to the north in Carroll County.
Our Bob Siegel and Emily Longnecker have been in Delphi every day of this trial. They join us tonight at 6 with details on the closing arguments.
Well, before jurors headed into their jury room to begin the process of those deliberations, both the state and the defense got a chance to make their closing arguments. And prosecutor Nick McLeland and defense attorney Brad Rosie, they both made very powerful presentations. The prosecutor laid out the state's entire case in chronological order, from the time Abby and Libby left for the Monon High Bridge and Libby captured Bridge Guy on her cell phone, to finding the girls' bodies, testing the evidence, interviewing witnesses on the trail, searching Richard Allen's home, testing his gun, and listening in on his jailhouse confessions. In his 1-hour closing argument, McLeland said all the pieces fit together, and he played Allen's jailhouse confession so jurors could again hear Allen say over and over that he killed Abby and Libby. The prosecutor said, Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. He kidnapped them and later murdered them. He stole the youth and life away from Abby and Libby. And he asked the jury to find Allen guilty on all 4 counts of murder. Then the defense summarized its case. Defense attorney Brad Rosie told jurors the state hid a lot of information it did not want jurors to know about because of what he called a state investigation that lacked credibility. Rosie reminded the jury Allen voluntarily came forward right after the murders to tell police he was on the bridge that day and to offer his help. He said none of the witnesses on the trail and bridge on the day of the murders identified Allen as Bridge Guy. And the defense reminded jurors there is no DNA, no fingerprints or digital evidence linking Allen to the crimes. Rosie also spent a lot of time talking about how Allen's harsh treatment in prison was a form of modern-day torture that led him to make false confessions during psychotic breakdowns. He told the jury, "Where's the moral compass? You are the moral compass. We are asking you to set Richard Allen free and a verdict of not guilty." And then, because the state gets the very last word, prosecutor Nick McLeland, he got to talk to the jury one final time, and Emily, that was very memorable.
I mean, very memorable, short though, and to the point with a few key moments, especially right at the end there with some statements, words that are now in that jury's mind tonight with the case. Nicholas McLeland told the jury they were in the driver's seat, that they will decide how the law applies to the facts and testimony. He told the jury that the defense hadn't backed up their claims. McLeland reminded the jury of the state's witnesses who said they were on the trail and bridge at the same time Richard Allen said he was there. Witnesses McLeland said who can all identify Bridge Guy. McLeland told the jury because of the video Libby took on her phone that day, investigators know the girls were kidnapped at 2:13 p.m. and at 2:32 the phone stopped moving. McLeland called that hard data. He poked holes in the defense's question of why no one heard the girls screaming, reminding the jury Richard Allen used a gun to execute power over them. He told the jury, quote, "We know they didn't scream, but we do know Liberty was crying." He also brought up Richard Allen's confessions, telling the jury the defense has continually argued, quote, "Words matter." McLeland asked jurors if words matter, quote, "Why don't Richard Allen's words matter?" McLeland called Abby and Libby victims, but also heroes, saying Libby was a hero for making that video, and Abby was a hero for concealing Libby's phone under her body. Both pieces of evidence, McLeland said, helped police find Richard Allen. Really, the most powerful moment, Bob, came at the end when McLeland reminded that jury of something Libby once told her grandmother, Becky Patty. She told her, "Someday I'm going to grow up and help police solve crimes." And McLeland told the jury, and that's just what she did. And she brought Abby along to help her that day. So those were the final words that the jury heard. they now have the case. We know that they deliberated for 2 hours before going back to their hotel.
Yes.
They'll be back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow to start their deliberations again. And so we wait. And the families of Abby and Libby wait. The families of Richard Allen wait. And Richard Allen himself waits now. His fate in this jury's hands. We don't know when this verdict is going to come, but when it does, we'll bring it to you here.
We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks so much. Emily Longnecker and Bob Siegel reporting live for us. Now, we are taking a deeper dive later tonight in closing arguments in our Delphi debrief.
Our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, will be breaking down statements from the prosecution and defense. It'll be streaming on WTHR Plus tonight at 10. That app is a free download on Apple TV, Fire Stick, and Roku. And let's get back up to Carroll County, where Samantha Johnson has been covering the events outside of the courtroom today. Samantha?
That's right, Scott and Anne Marie. We have seen dozens of people just watching and waiting outside the Carroll County Courthouse today. Most of them were here all day, and so many of the people we talked to today told us they had been following this case from the very beginning for more than 7.5 years now, and they wanted to witness what was happening here in Carroll County. One woman I talked to told me she is praying for peace for this community. Another person told me they are anxious to put this chapter of Delphi in the past. And several of the folks who have camped out outside the courthouse came from out of town. In fact, today we met Piper Hanan. She's from Noblesville. She says after hearing about this case for years now, she wanted to be a witness to all of it in its final days.
Over time, we just all in the community became invested in seeing it through to the end.
Now, of all the people we talked to and of all the signs we've seen here outside the courthouse, there's one that really stuck with me. Take a look at your screen. Not taking either side, but rather reminding everyone involved in this case, the world is watching. We know that will certainly be the case over the next 24, 48 hours. Bob, Emily, and I will be here again tomorrow. And Scott and Anne-Marie, like we mentioned, the jury expected back here in the Carroll County Courthouse tomorrow morning at 9.
All right, Samantha Johnson in Delphi for us tonight. Thanks so much.